You did everything right. You got the degree. You got the job. Maybe the promotion. Maybe the apartment. Maybe the relationship that looks good in photos. And somewhere around 30, 32, 35, you sat down one evening, looked at a life that should feel like an achievement, and felt nothing. Not sadness exactly. Not a crisis you could point to. Just a quiet, persistent question that shows up when the apartment goes silent. Is this it? If that question has ever visited you, this is not a coincidence, and it's not a personal failure either. It's one of the most precise psychological patterns a doctor ever documented, a doctor who first noticed it, not in comfortable people with too much time on their hands, but in a place where almost everyone should have already had permission to stop asking questions about meaning entirely. He didn't. And what he learned there explains, with strange exactness, why you feel lost right now. Picture the version of this that's happening to someone you know maybe to you. She's 33. She has a job title her 22-year-old self would have been proud of. She has a calendar full of things to do, and almost no time that belongs to her. She scrolls through people her age who seem to be living louder, freer, more photogenic lives, and she can't tell if she's jealous of them or just tired of comparing. Or him 36, married, a kid asleep down the hall, a mortgage, a job that pays for all of it. From the outside, nothing is wrong. From the inside, there's a low hum of, "Is this the whole thing?" that he can't say out loud, because saying it out loud would sound ungrateful. This isn't depression, necessarily. It isn't burnout, necessarily. It's something quieter and stranger, the feeling of having climbed the entire ladder only to notice, at the top, that nobody ever asked whether the ladder was leaning against the right wall. The internet has a tidy name for this: the quarter-life crisis, or its older cousin, the midlife crisis. And the tidy explanation that comes with it is almost always the same. You need a change. New job, new city, new relationship, new routine, new hobby. Buy the motorcycle, take the trip, quit the thing. Sometimes that helps, briefly. But notice something. For a lot of people, the new job comes with the same hollow feeling 6 months in. The new relationship, the new city, the new routine, the feeling follows them like luggage. That should tell us something important. If changing the external conditions of your life doesn't reliably fix this feeling, then the feeling was probably never about the external conditions in the first place. We've been treating a question about meaning as if it were a logistics problem. Wrong floor, wrong plan, wrong contractor, when the actual issue is that nobody asked what the building was for. There's a psychiatrist who named this feeling with unusual precision decades before quarter-life crisis became a phrase people typed into search bars. His name was Viktor Frankl, and he called this state an existential vacuum. Strip away the term and it's simple. It's the sensation of having no orientation, not, "I don't know what job to take." That's a decision problem. This is deeper. It's, "I don't know what any of this is for." Frankl noticed this vacuum tends to show up most sharply, not when people are struggling to survive, but precisely when survival stops demanding anything of them. When the pressure lifts, when the achievements pile up, when Saturday arrives with nothing that has to be done, that's when the emptiness gets loud enough to hear. He had a phrase for the specific version that shows up at the end of a working week. He called it the Sunday neurosis. That low-grade despair some people feel on a free afternoon, once the noise of obligation goes quiet and they're left alone with the question of what they actually want. Frankl's core claim, The one his entire school of thought is built on is almost embarrassingly simple to say and remarkably hard to live. Human beings are not driven primarily by pleasure and not primarily by power, but by a need for meaning. He called it the will to meaning. When that will goes unanswered, we don't usually collapse dramatically. We drift, we accumulate, we stay busy, and we feel lost anyway, because busyness was never the same thing as direction. Frankl didn't arrive at this idea in a university seminar. He arrived at it in a Nazi concentration camp where he spent years as a prisoner, and where he watched, with a clinician's exhausted precision, who survived psychologically and who didn't. He described the men who deteriorated fastest weren't always the physically weakest. They were often the ones who had lost a reason, something or someone waiting for them beyond the wire. He wrote about how prisoners' inner life could sometimes turn toward something as small and specific as picturing a loved one's face, and how that single point of orientation could hold a person together when almost everything else had been stripped away. He also described something almost paradoxical: prisoners who had, on paper, nothing left, no possessions, no certainty of tomorrow, control over nothing but their next breath, could still be observed choosing how to carry their suffering. Some shared their last piece of bread. Some walked through the camp, offering a kind word. Frankl's conclusion wasn't sentimental, it was clinical. Even in a situation engineered to strip meaning from human life entirely, some people still found a thread of it, not despite the suffering, but sometimes through the way they chose to face it. That's the part worth sitting with. If meaning could survive there in conditions built specifically to annihilate it, then the absence of meaning in a comfortable apartment with a good salary was never going to be solved by better circumstances. Frankl's prisoners didn't lack comfort more than you do right now. Some of them lacked comfort completely, and some still found a reason to keep going, which means the thing you're missing was never comfort in the first place. Now bring that back to your 30-something life, because the parallel isn't as dramatic as a camp, but the mechanism is identical. Modern life has become extraordinarily good at removing obstacles and extraordinarily bad at providing orientation. You don't have to hunt for food or fight for shelter. You have to choose from an overwhelming, undirected menu of careers, cities, partners, identities, and lifestyles what your one life should be for, and nobody hands you that answer. Your job won't. Your Instagram feed definitely won't. It mostly hands you other people's apparent answers, which is worse, because it turns your open question into a comparison contest you can't win. This is why success alone doesn't fix the lost feeling, and why it can even sharpen it. A promotion answers, "Am I capable?" It doesn't answer, "What is this capability for?" A relationship can answer, "Am I loved?" It doesn't answer, "What do I do with the years I've been given?" Frankl would say you can satisfy every external marker of a good life and still be standing in the exact vacuum he described, because none of those markers were ever designed to answer the meaning question. They were never built for that job. This is also, quietly, what a lot of the loneliness of your 30s is about. Not the absence of people many lost, feeling 30-somethings have full calendars and long group chats. It's the absence of a reason that organizes the people, the choices, the days, into something that feels like it's going somewhere rather than just continuing. Here is where logotherapy asks you to turn the question around, and this is the part that tends to change how people actually feel, not just what they know. Most of us walk around asking, "What do I want from life?" And when the answer feels foggy, we assume something is broken in us. Frankl's whole framework inverts that question. He'd ask instead, What is life asking of you right now in this specific season, with these specific people, this specific work, this specific set of limitations? That reversal matters more than it sounds like it does. What do I want from life is a search with no edges, infinite options, infinite comparison, infinite paralysis. It's the exact structure that makes your 30s feel lost. What does this moment require of me is a search with edges. It has a specific person who needs you to show up today, a specific piece of work only you can do the way you do it, a specific pain you're carrying that, if you let it, can be turned into something useful rather than just endured. This isn't a call to abandon ambition or stop wanting things for yourself. It's a shift in where you look for the answer, not backward into your resume, not sideways into everyone else's highlight reel, forward and downward into the actual textured specific shape of the life you already have, and the question of what it's quietly asking you to become responsible for. Frankl spent his life insisting on one uncomfortable, freeing idea. Meaning isn't something you find lying around, ready-made, waiting to be discovered like a missing set of keys. It's something you answer for, moment by moment, choice by choice, and the answer is different for every person, and different again for the same person at different ages. So maybe the question isn't, why do I feel lost in my 30s? Maybe it's this. What is your life asking of you right now, and are you willing to answer it, even before you feel ready?